Hi everyone, it's Katrina. From a suspected frozen base made by the Nazis to an underground cave full of mystery, here are 10 of the most secret and mysterious things ever found in Antarctica and the Arctic. Number 10. Hitler's frozen base. In the early part of the 1930s, the German Nazi Party showed great interest in the continent of Antarctica. They were so interested that they sent an expedition to survey parts of Antarctica and claim a piece of it for the motherland between 1938 and 1939. The purpose was to secure protection for the German whaling industry. All Germany really wanted was a piece of the action in the whaling business. All innocent, really. But the places where the Germans went had already been claimed by the Norwegians, and by 1939, they hadn't made any progress. But here's the deal. A lot of people believe the Germans really did claim a piece of Antarctica and that whales were just a cover story. At this time, Nazi Germany was already doing all kinds of covert operations and extreme top-secret weapons testing and all kinds of projects nobody knew about until much, much later in the war. Based on this recorded journey, some people think they built a great secret base there, specifically for Nazi leadership, meaning Adolf Hitler and his cronies. The rumor is that Hitler fled to Antarctica after being defeated in the war and faking his own death. However, the rumors go on to say that shortly after, the United States dropped a small bomb on its exact location and destroyed Hitler's frozen base. That is the only reason there is no evidence of it surviving today. Unfortunately, there is no proof of Hitler ever commissioning an Antarctic base. Some say it's still hidden somewhere on the continent, frozen over with ice. But if that's true, it's such a secret that nobody knows its location. Number 9. Cosmic particles. There are strange particles flying out of the frozen ground in Antarctica, and physicists don't know what is going on. Physicists claim that there are cosmic rays blasting through the ice and snow of Antarctica. These cosmic rays begin somewhere out in space, blast into the Earth, and then come out the other side. In other words, there is some kind of mysterious cosmic energy source perforating the Earth and coming out through Antarctica. The big issue with this is that according to scientists who use the standard model of particle physics, the particular particles that make up this cosmic ray should not have the ability to perforate the Earth. Only neutrinos with very low energy can pierce miles of rock. The neutrinos scientists have detected in Antarctica are high energy and should never be able to make it directly through the Earth. This has become a bit of a confusing secret down in Antarctica. Researchers first learned of the perforating particles in 2016 when the NASA Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna picked them up. This antenna was designed to detect cosmic rays from space, so NASA was obviously alarmed when the rays seemed to be coming from the opposite direction. There are a few theories, of course, but none of them have been confirmed. Scientists believe it could be some kind of dark matter distributed inside the planet. They say it could be sterile neutrinos, and some even say the energy could be coming from an alternate dimension. Number 8. An ancient wall. A mysterious ancient wall has been sighted in Antarctica. Thanks to Google Earth, people have spotted what seems to be a huge wall several miles long, encased mostly in ice. Underneath the snow, there is what seems to be a human-made structure surrounding what may have once been some kind of city. It looks like a perimeter wall used in primitive cultures all over the world back when they used to make fortified walls around settlements. Since the wall is over 2 miles long, that would mean that if it really did surround a city once, that city was big. But it gets even more interesting. There also appears to be a pair of pyramid-shaped structures covered in snow and ice. These pyramids have distinct sides sloping at roughly 45-degree angles. They also look to be roughly 80 to 90 feet tall. This suggests that beneath several feet of snow, there are the ruins of human-made pyramids and possibly even more structures. In fact, some have compared the shapes of the pyramids to the Babylonian ziggurat in ancient Sumer, what is now Iraq. But the ziggurat was built over 6,000 years ago. Could it be that the Babylonians somehow made it to Antarctica and built a walled city with pyramids? Unfortunately, there's no way to really know the truth until someone goes there with LiDAR or enough of the ice melts. Only then will we be able to see what's hiding underneath. Number 7. Noises from the snow. Something strange is going on in the Canadian Arctic. On the opposite side of Antarctica, there have been weird sounds coming out of the ice. Near the small hamlet of Igloolik in the Canadian territory of Nunavut, hunters have reported hearing hums and pings and even beeps coming out of the ice. They say the noise has become such a problem that it's now scaring away the animals and preventing them from being able to hunt. The local government was forced to step in and figure out what these creepy sounds are. So the Canadian military sent a specialized CP-140 Aurora aircraft to do surveillance of the area. According to a spokesman for the Department of National Defense, the crew of the aircraft searched using acoustics and a variety of other sensors, but did not detect any anomalies, either on the surface or the subsurface. However, the crew did spot 2 pods of whales and a small collection of walruses in the area, which they said could be the source of the noise. But the locals aren't buying it. They know what they sound like. They are used to walruses and whales since they have been there and interacted with these animals for a long, long time. The native people are much more in tune with nature than the Aurora aircraft. Instead, theories have been bouncing around about UFOs operating beneath the ice or even underwater. Others are certain there are Russian submarines hiding in Canadian waters. The National Post reported that it could be ice rubbing together that's causing the sound, based on a U.S. scientist working on a project to see how melting sea ice affects acoustics. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments below. Number 6. The Antarctic Sea Spider. If you thought terrifying spiders only live in exotic places, think again. In the waters around Antarctica, there are giant sea spiders that will give you nightmares. These creepy 8-legged freaks are ocean arthropods that can reach the size of a dinner plate. These monsters are huge and kind of scary to some people. They also have a unique circulatory system unlike anything else on the planet. They pump blood using their guts. And if that's not already terrifying, just listen to how they feed. The giant Antarctic sea spider feeds using a proboscis, not unlike a mosquito. The sea spider sticks its proboscis into a soft animal and then sucks out the yummy juices. It basically siphons a creature's insides out with a big straw. The spider also has a pretty small body, meaning it doesn't have a lot of room for its guts and organs. All of its important parts are inside of its legs. The giant sea spider also doesn't have gills or lungs, but breathes by absorbing oxygen through its skin. As creepy as it is, the giant sea spider is one of Antarctica's cooler secrets. It's such a fascinating animal, and researchers only recently figured out how its biology worked. They had to bring one to the lab and inject fluorescent dye into its heart, then watch where the dye went. That's how they learned all its gooey organs are stuffed into its legs. Number 5. Crashed UFO. There appears to be a crashed UFO hidden in Antarctica. At least, this is what a Russian scientist recently claimed in a video he uploaded online. This is a weirder discovery because it was made by somebody with the Russian Academy of Sciences, not just some ordinary guy on the internet. He found the crashed object roughly 1,000 miles from the U.S. Science Research Facility at Ross Island. The UFO is in the southern ice sheet, a part of Antarctica that has been receding in recent years. It was found crashed into a small mound of snow, its black metallic hull revealed only because of the snow melting. It's impossible to tell just how long the UFO has been stuck there in the snow, but the scientists estimated that it landed on our planet several million years ago. There's no way to confirm this, and to be quite honest, it's one of about a dozen supposed UFOs only partially sticking out of the snow in Antarctica. Whether it's the real deal or just another wild guess, only time will tell. And now for number 4, but first want to give a big shout out to Patricia Riley and Twitcher RNP, who has been with us for a while. Thanks so much for your support and for hanging out with us. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to join the Origins Explained family. Number 4. Square Iceberg. A perfectly rectangular iceberg was recently spotted in the Polar Sea, and it was freaking people out. Pictures of the rectangular iceberg arrived online just a little while ago, and nobody could believe how smooth and perfectly even the rectangle is. It honestly looks like it was shaved by human hands to be perfect in every single way. It's flat, its edges even look like they've been chiseled, and it measures up to within inches of perfect symmetry. But how is this possible in the natural world, where things aren't really designed in straight lines? Kelly Brunt, a scientist from the University of Maryland working with NASA, explained that the rectangular iceberg is actually fairly common. She said there are 2 types of icebergs, the big mean ones that sink ships, and the other ones, tabular icebergs. Tabular icebergs are wide and flat, looking like a squished pancake made out of ice. These icebergs form when they grow too long and crack off the side of an ice shelf, kind of like if a fingernail grows too long and cracks at the end. Because of this, the sheet of ice breaks off from the shelf in an almost perfect rectangle or square. The scientists went on to say that 90% of it is still hidden underwater, and that 90% probably isn't quite as congruent as what's seen floating on the surface. Number 3. Secret Underground City. In the 1960s, the US was all about the polar regions, trying to establish permanent camps both in the Arctic and in Antarctica. They built a lot of secret hubs in both of these places. However, one of the weirdest is a place called Camp Century, located in the middle of nowhere in Greenland, just shy of the North Pole. Roughly 400 tons of machinery were transported to this underground Arctic city in the 60s. There were 21 tunnels carved out of the ice and fitted with corrugated steel roofs. There were staff living inside the facility throughout the year, and constant maintenance needed to be done to keep the base stabilized. And yes, it was exceptionally cold. Camp Century was apparently the first place to be powered by a portable nuclear reactor. The reactor worked for 33 months, keeping the camp's lights on using nuclear energy. However, the camp was abandoned in 1966 and was found wrecked beyond repair 3 years later thanks to the shifting polar ice. Today, there is not much left of this bizarre experiment except for frozen steel girders and pieces of pipe sticking out of the ice where the underground city once was. Oh yes, and the 47,000 gallons of radioactive waste slowly seeping into the ocean from the nuclear reactor. Number 2. Secret Underground Cave. An unexplored cave was recently discovered thanks to Google Maps in Antarctica. The entrance to the cave is on a small island, with those who found the magnificent portal saying it could be anything from a secret military base to an entrance that leads deep into the heart of the planet. As far as we know, the cave appeared very suddenly back in 2007 before vanishing just 6 months later, as if Google scrubbed the cave entrance off the map. It literally just vanished, which was pretty shocking since nothing else in the area changed. Additionally, an unusual structure could be seen leading to the cave, looking a lot like a series of steps. If the cave really does have steps leading to it, it must have been built by human hands. The entrance itself, when it was still viewable on Google Earth, looked to be big enough to fit a space shuttle inside of, suggesting it could have been used as some sort of bunker. Unfortunately, like just about everything found in Antarctica using satellite images, there is no way to confirm any theories unless somebody goes down there and takes pictures of the cave themselves. The biggest mystery here is why it vanished from the satellite images so quickly, unless someone important was trying to cover it up. Number 1. Antarctic Slimefish. A mysterious slimefish was recently discovered in Antarctica, which looks a little gross. The critter was found while Expedition Antarctica searched for the weirdest marine life on the planet. Out of all the fish that the expedition came across, this one was the most bizarre. Dr. Andrew Stewart said that when he captured it, he had no idea what species it belonged to. The fish had a color and texture he had never seen before, and this is coming from a scientist who studies marine life. The slimy fish was small enough to fit in the doctor's hand. It was coated in a milky, almost translucent layer of slime, and it kind of looked like a tadpole, and yet it has no name. This isn't too surprising considering we've only explored a tiny portion of the oceans on Earth, only witnessing some of the amazing sea life. This Antarctic slimefish probably belongs to a whole group of weird critters living at the bottom of the ocean that scientists have yet to identify, trying their best to avoid being scooped up in nets. It's not clear how the fish operates or how it lives in the cold environment of Antarctica. It must have evolved over millions of years to get used to the frigid temperatures. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite mystery from Antarctica? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time!